I'm sure
There
it's
we
overloaded.
go. Okay, hi everybody out there in the land of chaos. I'll just say it that way. My name is Rick Tamlin. I have with me today Karen Grant and Geoff Grant. And I know that, excuse me, I'm going to cough. Hang on. And it's not that kind of cough. I just had some food and it's caught in my throat. These are two folks that I have completely fallen in love with and I'm working with. They were working together over the last couple of years to put their good work into the world. And we were chatting the other day about what's going on in the world, and I'm going to let them talk in a minute, but Karen has a unique health challenge, which is creating a bit of a sort of an extra layer of anxiety. And Geoff is in the caregiving space as a messenger in that world. And the bottom line is I wanted to sort of have a public conversation and maybe offer some wisdom and some ideas and some support and some normalization with what's going on. So this is very ad hoc. This has not been planned. But how about a little setup? Karen, just tell everybody, again, what's going on with you and your biggest fears in this whole thing you shared with me yesterday.
Okay, well, what's going on with me? I have a compromised immune system. Back in 2004, I was diagnosed with bilateral mesothelioma, which is caused by exposure to asbestos. I underwent numerous surgeries. I'm cancer-free now, but because of all the surgeries, my immune system is severely compromised. I have a trach and I sleep on a ventilator at night. So it's hard because, I can't be around anybody that's sick or anybody that's got a cold or anything. It's very difficult. And this coronavirus really scares me because I don't even want to think about what it could do to me, I'm trying to be careful. And, Geoff is an excellent caregiver to me, and he's got to be careful as well. And, it's tough for the both of us, and it's just not easy. And, just going out scares me. And when he goes out, I get worried. So that's it.
Yeah. So thank you. I just wanted everybody to kind of know the context of the sort of the dimension that, or the sort of your perspective on what's going on for you. So Geoff, just a little bit of a setup from you. By the way, these guys are a married couple. They're doing different screens right now in different rooms to have the video be a little bit better. But Geoff, how about a little bit of who you are and why you are and your good work?
I am Karen's caregiver, as she mentioned. I am also an author of a book for caregivers. And it's difficult for me as a caregiver. It's important that I have breaks, that I take care of myself.
Right.
And Karen's very worried when I go out, and sometimes she, we have to compromise.
Yeah.
And it's just created a little tension between us with the coronavirus because she doesn't want me to go out. She doesn't want to get sick.
Right, of course. Right. So that kind of leads me to the maybe a point to support people with is there's this fancy language we use in the coaching and the leadership development space around designed alliance, designing how you want to be together in this very challenging circumstance. And what you're both speaking to is, how do we coexist in this situation? We're not allowed to go outside. It's 20 degrees was where they are, by the way. It's about 20 degrees right now today, right?
About that.
Yeah, right.
About that.
Approximately. And, so we can't go outside. So that, the circumstances are like, wow, how do we design this consciously so we don't get on each other's nerves and sort of bug each other and all that stuff, which, they have a unique situation, but as you guys are watching this, it's like, how do you have a conversation with your loved ones and your families and your kids and your husbands and your wives about how to do this together? How do we be together in this? Right. So you guys can either sort of do that in public with each other right now and how to be together better. And I'll be a guide for that, or you can tell us what you've already done. You can go with it wherever you want.
Well, we've talked, I want to do it here. We've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And she just wants Karen wants me to be conscious of the decisions I make.
Yeah.
And no, at the same time, she wants me to, she's a little bit, how should I say, she's a little bit upset that I don't understand what she goes through as a patient, as a person with a compromised system.
Yeah, good. So pause there for a second. So just find that out if that's true. So actually ask her.
Karen.
Yes.
Are you upset?
Is what I said true, that about your immune system, and that how I make you upset sometimes about the decisions I make?
Sometimes, I mean, I don't expect you to understand, because you'll never understand what I went through. You know, it's hard. It's hard. And, you know, the social distance thing, it is really hard sometimes between us, because sometimes I need just some space, and I know he wants a hug or a kiss, and, you know, I give it to him, but then at the same time, it's like, okay, I just, you know, I just need some space.
Right. And I mean, it's going to sound dramatic, but that hug or that kiss is life-threatening.
Yeah, I know. And
I mean, that's the part that's sort of, you know, that's the elephant in the room, is like, you know, that
I know
hug.
we can't touch each other, and it's hard.
Right.
And,
right.
You know, we're not used to that, you know.
Oh, of course. And culturally, we're not used to that either, by the way. Right. This whole, right.
You know,
so what, see, what I love what you said a minute ago, Karen, was this sort of nobody will understand this. And that's true. No, we can't begin to relate, you know. So I want to make sure for you, kind of coaching you for a second or pointing you in a direction here, is to make sure you say what you need. And Geoff, by the way, you're going to do your best to kind of give it your best shot. Doesn't mean you have to agree to everything, but Karen, make sure you ask for what you need. Like, I need this, this, and this, and I don't need this and this and this. And the classic part of this is to be aware of your impact, but to not try to take care of each other's emotional response. You can't be responsible for each other's emotions. You can be responsible for your impact on another person. Does that distinction make sense?
Yes, to me it does.
It does to me. I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's the difference between, like, we're not responsible for each other's emotional life.
Yeah.
You're right. We're responsible for our impact on each other. And then, you know, my job is to respond the way I want to respond. And if it hurts my feelings, I need to tell you, and, you know, we work it out. Right. So, Karen, what is it you need? Let's just go there for a second. Tell Geoff what you need. And it probably is going to change. You know, right now at 3:15 Eastern Standard Time, this is what I need. It could change in 10 minutes.
Right.
You know, so flexibility and is needed here versus it's too tight, you know.
Yeah. Geoff,
you guys, you know, you're doing this so like it's a TV show. You can just talk to each other.
Okay. What I need is just for you to just be there for me, and know that if I say, you know, I can't hug you, or, you know, I can't give you a kiss on the forehead, I need you just to understand that it's extremely hard for me not to be close to you right now. And I can only imagine it's hard for you. And, you know, also, you know, I know you like going out, but that kind of puts me at risk. And, you know, I know it's this whole situation sucks, for lack of a better word. I mean, I'm a photographer, and I love going out and buying flowers and taking pictures, and I can't even do that. So I've turned to photographing things in my house and trying to find ways.
So keep the request clear with him.
Okay.
Like, see how it starts to wander into these other sort of things. It's like,
yeah, I see.
You see how it is fine. It's sort of, you're trying to rationalize it instead of like, Geoff, here's the deal. If you go out into the world, you know what that could possibly do to me. You don't even have to say the word.
Okay.
So you got to be responsible when you go out into the world, Geoff, and not be around people.
You know, if you go out, you know, be aware that, you know, when you come home, you have to wash your hands. You know, you may need to change your shirt depending on, you know, where you've been. And
well, I'm going to give you even more authority, Karen. Play with this idea. So, Geoff, I can't control where you go out there, but here's what I need to, just for my own safety. When you get home, you're doing these 5 things. You're changing your clothes. You're washing your hands. You're not giving me a hug. Like, because you see, it's just real clean. So he knows. You know, rather than, well, see, you can kind of hear the, like, well, if you got close to people outside in the world, then I need you to change the clothes. It's like, no, I need to know you're changing your clothes. Whether, I don't know what you did out there.
Yeah. I don't know where you've been. I don't know
you can't
what you came
that.
in contact with, and I have no control over that.
Right.
You know, and
right.
So,
because the other thing they're learning, not to be too much of a drama person here, but they were reading, they don't really know about this thing, how long it lives in the air and like, right. So we're just, so
I've heard a lot of reports that it lives for a while. And,
right. So it doesn't really matter whether he hugs or something, like you're changing your clothes, period. Like that kind of thing. So what I want for you, Karen, in this is authority with your life. And he'll get to say yes or no. He loves you enough. 90% of what you're asking for, he's going to say yes to. I know he is. I think. Actually, let's hear from him.
Well,
I'm waiting.
There's nothing that I don't disagree with.
Yeah.
Or there's nothing I disagree with that Karen says. It's just, I think the issue is if I want to go get a iced coffee, she wants me to go through the drive-through instead of going into the store.
Right.
That's one of the compromises we make.
Yeah.
And so nothing has ever happened like this before.
Yeah.
And I'm a very logistical person. That's how I became such a good caregiver.
That's how I got out to California. In Minneapolis.
Yeah.
That's how Karen was able to travel.
Right.
You know, across the country. And it's very difficult as a logistical thinker, like not to be able to go out when I want to go out and do something like food shopping or, well, of course we all have to do food shopping, but go out and run an errand or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's very, it's all new to us, like it is everybody else.
Yeah. Well, you're naming brilliantly, Geoff, we are in unprecedented territory, and life as we know it is evaporating. It's changing. It's evaporating. I mean, it's just like like you even said, go to a coffee shop. I'm like, wow, you guys have coffee shops that are open. None of ours are open. We're not allowed to go anywhere near any of that stuff. So it's just interesting, you know. So it's so to your point, Geoff, it's new territory. And I'll throw this into the mix. So it's just an intuitive hit. None of us want to feel controlled. And we're being controlled.
Yes.
We are.
We are being controlled. And we're being told what we can and cannot do. The American freedom moment right now is under crisis. It's under attack. It's under, like, my freedom of my life is now being compromised. And it's terrifying. And so we don't even know how to navigate. And then we bark at each other and get frustrated with each other. And, you know, we do all that other stuff. So So, you know, we don't have to belabor the point here, but the thing to remember with each other, of course, is the unintended impact of saying stuff that hurts or shuts you down or twists you, and then you take responsibility for it and you clean it up and you sort of apologize. You know, that's the classic relationship side of this. You know, how do we be with each other in this absolutely chaotic, confusing state? And with that said, like, if you guys were to offer guidance from your own experience, what might you say?
I would say be open and don't allow your fears to sabotage your relationships, especially your partner or your spouse, the one you rely on the most.
Right.
And that doesn't mean holding back. It just means make sure it's from a place of kindness and love, rather than fear and frustration.
Yeah, I'll just build off of that, and then Karen, I want to hear from you. But I will be scared, and what was the other word you just used, Geoff? I'll be scared and fear,
afraid, and
right. So it's when I'm at my worst, I don't even notice I'm afraid. I'm just sort of taking my frustration and my fear and blasting it on my partner, or blasting it on something else. And my partner has to ask me, it sounds like you're really scared right now. So what are you scared of? And, you know, so we get to be with each other's fear. So it's not don't tell each other not to have it, but I don't even notice I'm having it. And so my frustration and my anger is coming out because I'm scared of something rather than I'm mad at something.
Yes.
Usually my madness and my craziness comes from my fear. So how do we just be wildly curious about, you know, what are you terrified of right now? And we all have some version of it's all unraveling, and, you know, we don't know where this is going. So Karen, what might be your insight?
Communicate.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to communicate with your spouse. You know, it's not easy, and the other spouse might not know what you're feeling at the moment. And Geoff and I always have great communication skills, but you know, it's very hard. And you know, my fear is if either I get it or if he gets it, because then somebody needs to take care of me because I'm on a ventilator. So somebody's got to put me on the vent. Somebody's got to take me off the vent. There's all these other things, logistics, and so just be patient and think before you speak. You know, sometimes we watch the news and just the news itself gets frustrating, and then you end up saying things or getting angry, and and you can't let that control you. And just turn it off and do something fun together. And
yeah, which reminds me, Karen, yesterday you were sharing with me. I hope I'm not outing you about this, but there's a game you love. What's the the
Atari 2600. We got an old flashback unit, and it has all of my favorite games on it, and just brings me joy to play. And Geoff and I play, and we have such a great time playing a lot of games, and so that's something that we do for fun.
Can I ask Karen a clarifying question?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Karen, are you afraid that I will no longer be able to be your caregiver if I get this disease?
Well, not that I know I don't want to, if you do get it, I know that you'll recover from it. But, you know, sometimes I do worry because we don't really have anybody else to take care of me. And, you know, it's tough. I don't want to depend on them. I don't.
Well, can you feel the paradox of that, Karen? You do.
Yeah, I do. I know I do.
I mean, it's like it's a part of your relationship right now. He
Yeah.
takes care of you every single day, and there are things that you cannot do by yourself.
Yeah, no.
So you are you are what's so beautifully real. We are wildly dependent on each other, especially during this time. And you are dependent upon him, you know, and that's okay. Right. And so it does beg the question. I think it's a good question you asked, Geoff. You know, is it a lot of planning? You know, people are trying to figure out what's the plan of my future, and we don't really know how this is going to go. So the planning is a little bit nebulous. But, you know, what is a plan B for you guys? You know, if Geoff were to get sick, not like you need to tell the world right now, but, you know, you need to have a plan B.
I think we have to have an open conversation about it with our loved ones.
Yeah, right.
And
strategy.
That's been something that's been out in the ether for a while.
Right.
That we haven't sat down and talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's almost unmentionable, right? It's one of those unmentionables or unthinkables. And here we are in an unthinkable situation, which is causing we have to talk about this. If I get sick, we got to have a plan. You know, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just it's the classic. I mean, this is what our country needs right now. What's the plan as this unfolds? Because it's here. We can't deny it. We can't, you know, wish it away. And, you know, because it's interesting, the concept of a plan does calm us down.
I mean, I like to say we have looked into it, like, but due to not due to insurance, but due to my overall health, I don't qualify for much of anything.
Yeah.
Like a nurse to come over. I mean, just something as simple as put me on the vent and take me off the vent.
Yeah.
I don't qualify for any of that. We looked into that. So it's got to be like a family member.
Family or friend, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and
so.
Or it's out of pocket.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or it's out of pocket. Right, I get it. I get it. Well, so, wow, I just want to, what I so appreciate about this conversation is it's bringing up things that have needed attention. Karen, you kind of said it. It's been in the background, or I don't know which one of you said it. It's sort of been in the background, but now it needs to be in the foreground. And I think that's maybe the final thing to leave with everybody. Like, what's been in the background of our lives that now needs attention? Personally, professionally, relationally. And as much as we don't want to look at this stuff, it's like, well, now's the time. I have the time. You know, like there's like 16 projects that I've been thinking about for 2 years, and okay, here's the time. You know, we've got this space. So thank you for chatting about this. Yeah, I'm going to applaud you. Go have the conversation. What's plan B? You know, so you can kind of rest in it. Because here's what I know. There's a lot of people who love you, family and friends, who would easily be a plan B. I know that to be true. They're just waiting to be asked.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
You know, and I think as a culture, and this is what I'm holding for our country and for our globe, is as you know, as we go through the fear of this, there's going to be a lot of support. Like, we're going to reach out and support each other like we've never done before. We already are. You know, the two places I'm telling people right now in my coaching practice and in my leadership work is two places to look. I need to ground myself. So what do I need to do to center myself? And then that feeds, and now what's the service I can offer once I'm centered? Because I think, you know, I'm freaking out. I need to center. Good. Now let me be of service. Like this call right now, you and I were all chatting. The three of us were chatting yesterday. And I said, let's turn this into something to offer. And you both got excited. You were like, oh, good. Let's go share something. Right? We don't know if it's going to serve or be good. Like, but we're of service right now. Right? And I think I think when we're of service, it saves our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. So thank you for doing this quick conversation. And anything else you want to say to each other or to the folks who are watching?
I do.
Yeah.
I like to say to Geoff that I love you and I appreciate everything you do for me, and you're an amazing husband, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you, and I thank you for that. And to everyone out there, please be safe and do what the officials tell you to do, and be careful. We need to stop this virus before it gets way out of control. If it isn't already, it's already out of control, but we need to really stop this, and so that people like me and with disabilities or the elderly, they can go out and go back to living their lives, and so just please be careful and be safe.
And I would like to say to Karen, I love you. And I try my best every day to be the best husband and caregiver I can. And I would like to say to everybody out there that use this time, use this crisis as an opportunity to have conversations. And don't live from the darkness of the situation, live from your own inner light.
There you have it. And I am also reminded by what you just did with each other is, go tell your loved ones how much you love them. Right? So thank you both very much. It's an honor to work with you and be with you, and more to come on that one. So out there in the world, you got it.
Thank you.
Let's support each other and be of service. So thanks everybody for watching. Take care. I'm going to push stop right now.